put you off your cornflakes.
They don't open their windows here anymore. It's been 2 months, we were told, since the bins on this street were last emptied. Some here have found ways round the strike. This man uses his work van to take his and his neighbour's rubbish to the dump.
Just walking to the shops, you have to walk past all that, and it's ridiculous. Some of the bags are ripped open, there's rubbish all over the floors. On a windy day, it can go everywhere.
Scenes like this have become common in many parts of Leeds. It's a sight and smell with which we may all yet become familiar, because this bin strike is spreading. In the next few weeks, bin men will walk out in Brighton, and the threat of similar industrial action hangs over several other cities. But the bin men have vowed to continue. Here's why. Mark Dovey earns nearly £19,000. If the proposed pay changes go through, he says that'll drop to £14,500.
I've got a large mortgage as it is now. Probably might have to sell his house and probably downsize, which when you've got 2 kids it's a bit hard to do.
There've already been demonstrations, this one in Birmingham, against plans to overhaul the pay structure of the UK's council workers. Equality laws stipulate that every employee must be fairly paid for what they do. So some, like care workers, will get a pay rise. Others, like the bin men, will lose out.
Equal pay means that all jobs have to be looked at. You have to have a point scoring which awards points according to the skills that the job needs and the working conditions. And it's difficult with something like wheeling out bins and wheeling them back to see a huge level of skill, and that's why we have this difficulty.
The Leeds bin strike is now entering its 3rd month, and the council have brought in private bin men. In fact, as we started to film the rubbish piled here, these agency workers turned up to clear it. There seems little hope here of an end to the strike. In the meantime, the battle to keep this city clean is on. And in the meanwhile, negotiations are continuing in many cities across the UK. In Sheffield, for example, tomorrow, I'm told, last-ditch talks will be held with bosses and unions there. If they fail, members will be balloted for strike action. Here in Leeds today, political leaders are due to meet unions in an attempt to stop this particular strike. But, you know, the reality is that next week in Brighton, bin men are due to walk out, and it looks as though many of us will be having to put up with scenes like this on our doorstep. Back to you both.
Horrible.